Hi friends, Ark from the Archives here. If you've clicked on this video, I'm sure you probably thought to yourself at one point in time, I can probably hash out a doodle or two here and there. And truth be told, it is as easy as that sometimes. Doodles, at least in my opinion, are probably one of the easiest ways to start getting into drawing and art as a whole. Short, sweet pieces of art that can always serve as either a warm-up, a finished piece even, or just something to pass the time. Simple enough. Well, there are times where a doodle can be about as complex as drawing a stick figure on a piece of paper and calling it a day. Sometimes you'd want to get a little more out of a doodle, you know? Maybe you've got an idea that just needs to be refined here and there, or sometimes you just feel a tad bit more creative on a specific day. That brings us to what we'll be talking about and doing today as well. Just a little bit of insight into how I personally like to go about making doodles, and while these tips are just how I go about it myself, hopefully it might be able to help out some of you viewers start getting into doodling yourselves. Now, some people do enjoy or prefer to go straight into it, diving headfirst, or pen first rather, into a blank sheet of paper or a fresh canvas, letting their imagination run wild. Sometimes, after all, a blank canvas can be the best source of inspiration. You could doodle anything here. Like, let's start off with something simple, a tiny goblin. We've got his green head, pointy ears, let's just finish that up here. Two tiny eyes, a dopey little smile. Let's change it up for a nice leather outfit over here. Two tiny green arms. There we go. One arm here, another arm here. And you can give him his tiny little book right here. And there we go, perfect. Another really simple thing that you could doodle is fruit. Let's take an example, like an apple over here. Just got the right sheet of bread. Pick out a green leaf. There we go. Couple that with, let's say, an orange. Just picking this out here. Nice, really simple circle here. The good thing about doodles really is that they don't really need to be super refined, you know. You can kind of make them scuffed like this. Just change this up, and now guess what? We've got a couple of bananas. Really simple stuff, really easy to pivot into as well. No, that's not the right shade. Hang on. There we go. Just a couple of fruits and a silly little goblin over there. As I was mentioning earlier, doodles don't really have to be refined. You can just go in there and let your mind wander almost. Kind of freeing, isn't it? Now, while going into it in a fresh canvas is a perfectly viable way to go about making doodles and such, I personally prefer to doodle on pictures I've taken. Kinda like graffiti, but not, you know? Taking something already present and seeing some artistic way to put a nice little twist on it. And what better way to show this than by doing it? After all, I guess in this video, part of what I'll be able to do, and what I'm trying to do for you viewers, is to show how you can go from something like this and turn it into something like this. Now granted, it doesn't need to be as intricate as this. It can be as simple as just drawing a couple of lines here and there, but perhaps seeing someone go about doing it might be able to help you yourself also try getting into it. So, why don't we get started then? Alright, so for starters, let's take this very quick, simple picture that I was able to take on a walk a while back. So nothing more than a simple, unassuming mango. Now, at least the way I see it, there are quite a few ways you could go about doodling this. For starters, let's make a very quick, simple layer to draw on. So, one way I see it right now is kind of looks like a dude climbing onto a rope. So if we were to draw that, let's draw a head over here. There we go. And his little determined eyes. Now since he's climbing, he's, you know, exerting quite a bit of effort. Now typically with how you'd want to try drawing it, or at least what angle you'd want to go, You could see him trying to climb up, so just brief, let's see here, or brief rather, a very quick, let's change the brush size here. I want to give him a bit beefy arm since he is doing something rather rigorous, right? Change it up again. So, you know, if you've ever seen like those shows where they have those gym classes where they're climbing up ropes, you can kind of get what I'm trying to draw here. You can just refine that a bit, give it a bit of depth. There we go. Now let's say we wanted to add another layer for the arm behind him. Let's just do that. Now, I know a lot of people typically name their layers, but since this is just a quick introduction to sort of doodling as a whole, I don't think we really need to do that. Okay. Whoops. Oh, wait. There we go. Nice thing about doodles is, well, as I mentioned earlier, they're rather simple. They don't need to be too refined. Granted, I am being a bit of a stickler when it comes to, you know, certain things like this, but that's just personal choice at this point, right? Doodles can be as simple, or like I mentioned earlier, as simple or as complex as you want them to be. So let's make sure I didn't delete anything needed there. Okay. Get rid of this arm. And there you have it. Just a quick little dude climbing up a rope. You know, we could go in a step further, try adding a bit of color. So make sure this is below everything. There we go. I'm still on Eraser. If it isn't clear, this is pretty much my first time using Clip Studio. I typically would use something on my phone prior because, again, it's rather simple and easy to do. Doodles can be done almost any medium, pretty much anywhere. And you can pretty much jump into it regardless of your perceived skill level, you know? Add a little bit more embellishments here and there, kind of like effort lines. Oops. There we go. See, very quick, simple doodle. Just a dude climbing up some rope. Now, another way you could sort of go about drawing this, and I've pulled up another version of another blank version of this picture here, is why don't we put quite literally a different angle on it. Let's say he's instead of climbing up a rope, he's climbing down one, you know, kind of like Mission Impossible style. So we could just draw a very quick head over here. You know, he's a lot more let's say he's cooler than the other guy. Let's give him a nice pair of shades. Because every secret agent's got to have a killer pair of shades. Let's just fill that in. Just refine this arm over here. And you know what secret agent wouldn't be or what self-respecting secret agent would you be if you didn't have your own, sort of gear and equipment? So let's doodle that now. There it is. Every secret agent has his handy dandy utility belts and whatnot. So we can draw in a very quick bunch of vest straps here. Change the color a bit. Okay. Actually, it would be simpler to make this on another layer, wouldn't it? Just underneath. It. We can just color his face. And well, that's 2 doodles dished out in no less than 10 minutes, all from one picture. So yeah, it's very easy to get into doodling and doesn't really take a lot of skill, doesn't really take a lot of investment. You can just jump in and pretty much go wherever you want to go with it. So hopefully this kind of helps you, the viewers, try getting into doodling yourself. And well, that's pretty much the end of this video. Hopefully you were all able to take away something from it. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Goodbye now.